All right, there's a lot going on. But first, I want to start. Let's start with some real estate. We haven't spoke about real estate in a while, so I do want to talk about real estate. So okay, real estate chronicles. You know, if you've been following the journey, as far as been pretty transparent about this real estate debacle that I got myself into a few years ago, as far as building a home. Highly don't suggest it to anybody. Highly unsuggestible,
Mm,
but it's a learning process for sure. So one thing that I actually did learn that I think I was talking to Troy about it, I think is helpful to actually share the information is that so a lot of times what contractors do is that they make money on a few different ways, but they make money on the markup of things. So it's like if you're buying flooring, right? Let's say hypothetically the flooring costs $20,000, and well, they get discounts, and depending on how much stuff that they
mhm.
buy, they get a discount. They get tax free stuff like that. So it might actually cost 20, but they might actually get it for, let's say, 17,
Yep.
but they'll charge you 25. So they actually making almost, because who's really gonna check every single thing to see? And it's not too far from the actual truth. So it's not like they charging you 60,000 where you're gonna actually investigate it, right? They charge you 50, they charge you 25. You're like, all right, even if they got, with taxes, but you don't know if they actually got discount, you're not even paying taxes. So they actually making almost an $8,000 spread on that.
A small vig, but it's a vig nonetheless. Mhm.
Adds up though.
It adds up over you. Yep.
Adds up. So
Mhm.
one of the things that I was, like I said, I was talking to him about it. And what I do, I got a contractor that I've developed a relationship with, good Palestinian brother, and I appreciate him because what it's kind of annoying at first, but it's kind of fire because I've turned into like the leg man on, like I'm going with him every single where
Mhm.
to buy it, but I appreciate it because I'm seeing in real time. He's showing me like, all right, this is the discount, da 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 da, and like I just pay with your credit card, so he's not getting any markup on it. Like I said, it's a little annoying because I've turned into a general contractor. Like I'm literally
Gotta invest your
driving
time. Yep.
45 minutes on a Saturday to go to flooring and decor in Connecticut. But I'm seeing now, I'm like, oh wow, I didn't even know that they didn't have to pay taxes. I didn't know that.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So I'm like, well, that's actually pretty insightful. So I would highly recommend if you're building a home or if you're dealing with a general contractor, if they're not going to take that route and you're actually not going to go there, which show the receipt before reimbursement, show the receipt
Mhm.
because the just trust me game. And like I said, it adds
Mistake.
up 8,000 here, 7,000 here, 4,000 here.
Mhm.
Before you know it,
They put
you
their
don't
kid through
spend
college.
100%,
Mhm.
100%,
Yeah.
100%.
No, it's filthy work, and I think one of the beautiful things is that like the things that he's dealing with now, I've kind of dealt with it
Mhm.
as well, just in my own way, right? And so what I actually did, and this is interesting too, and I'm sure there's plenty of people out here. I just went to Home Depot because that's literally what happened. Not his contractor, although I have worked with him. Another contractor actually uses discount for my windows, and if you know windows, they could be extremely pricey and they could get delayed. And when he ordered it, he left his order number. So when I went back to return it, I actually saw the order number. And I was like, "Yo, that's a difference of at least $12,000
Mhm.
He charge you 12,000 more.
more, right?" So when I had to get
Adds up.
reimbursed, I said, "Well, how is he getting the discount?" And so went to Home Depot, and they said if you spend over a certain amount, you technically can be a part of the Pro Extra loyalty program. So if you spend over a certain amount every year, then you can get that. And so now I have a pro account, and so I don't actually need the contractor. I can go purchase this on my own, right? With the use of AI and figure out what I need specifically for my home, right? So if it was flooring or if it was windows or if it was sheetrock, I can actually go get that on my own, right? So then he doesn't even have to do the discount thing. So like that is one thing that you learn during this process is that you go into it thinking that you're a home buyer and you slowly start realizing that you're a general contractor, you're an interior designer, you're like an electrician, you're a plumber,
Mhm.
you're doing all these things because you're watching everybody because every person that's there is getting paid and it's your money
Absolutely.
that's paying for it. And so there's a different level of attention that you're going to pay to it. But and we had this conversation yesterday in the driveway, and I'm like, it's a tedious journey. It's a very difficult journey, and everybody says it'll all be worth it in the end. So I'm closer to the end than the beginning. And I will say this: it's not for the faint of heart, but there is beauty in building something, especially when you're building it together. So like my wife and I, we literally have done this together. If you can build something together with your spouse, like they say you're going to be together forever, bro, like this is a forever house type situation. What I've learned about myself and what I've learned about her during this process, priceless.
Yeah.
Through all the headaches, priceless.
But then also, you can establish your own, but sometimes it's going to take you a while to actually get more of it. Because like anything, the more you spend, the more of a discount you get. So it's like just starting out, you might have to spend, let's say, $400,000 to get an extra 5%, but that 5% adds up. So take that into consideration too. If you're like me, I don't plan on ever doing this again. So that's why I would rather use my constructor's discount, because he spends so much money that he's going to get a benefit that if I'm just starting out that I won't get. But I will tell you too, also with the construction loan, this is some information. You got to be careful with these construction loans, because what they do is you got to spend the money first before they reimburse you. That may sound pretty easy to understand, but most of the time, if you're going into it, you never had it. You're not really thinking about that before. At least I wasn't. When I had a construction loan, I'm thinking, if I get a construction loan, what that means is that when I need money, they're going to give it to me so I can build the home. But you learn quickly that it takes time to get the money. Put it like this: you got to have the money first, and they're not going to give you enough money than what you spent. So if the floor costs, let's say realistically in the real world, $40,000 for flooring, they'll set a budget for $15,000. So they're not going to give you like exact. That's why going to China was helpful and beneficial. But man, that's something that you really got to think about too with these construction loans. Once again, this is why the Home Buyers Blueprint, which is in EY University, shout out to Matt. And so because there's no education, like for me, like I said, dumbass decision. I've already spent probably $2 million cash. Literally $2 million in cash. That's a dumbass decision.
Stop, man.
You were uninformed at the time of all the traps that were there.
I'll be honest with you. There's no way to be informed. Like literally, like there's no way. And I'll give this last piece of advice, right? Number one, and after I had this conversation with him, make sure you document everything. Make sure you keep every receipt for everything. Also, and this is probably the thing that has saved me the most, is that I drew up a contract with the original contractor saying that I could work with any contractor that I wanted to. Right. And that was vitally important, right? Because that says that if I don't like the service that you're providing, right, I can go elsewhere and seek the service. Here's how that's helped me in a couple of ways. Number one, we'll leave some of the details of how this contractor has played out throughout the course of this home building process. But it also allowed me to hire other contractors and 1099 them, right? They were independent contractors because they were not my primary contractor. Even though he was terrible throughout the entire process, I never fired him.
Yeah.
So technically, he's still on the insurance for the home. Everybody else that I hired is now 1099, right? So if I paid them out of my business, it's a 1099 contractor. Now I can save on my taxes. So that actually helped me. So if you're going to go into this process, like I said, you could, and the Home Buyers Blueprint is a great place. You're going to have to learn things as you go. You're going to have to be patient. You're going to have to be diligent, right? Because no one has your best interest except you.
Yep.
You got to keep that in mind. This is an investment. Obviously, it's an investment for. He said how he felt about his investment. I've shared how I felt about mine, but it's still a learning process. And so the knowledge that we're getting, the information that we get to give back, man. So if we can help throughout this process at any point, we're gonna make sure we do that. So those are some little.
But
tidbits.
You can 1099 your contractor too, though, because I 1099. That's another thing. This is some other information for you. When I fired my contractor, the first one, I hired a new contractor, but I had my lawyer draw up a contract. Always have your lawyer draw up a contract, even if they have a contract.
Never
give it to your lawyer and go through it and put things that you want into it. Don't just sign something because it's a standard agreement. And so, long story short, I 1099 my guy as well. But it's all negotiable. Whatever. That's the thing. It's all negotiable as far as how you handling the business. But make sure you got a good lawyer. That was another thing. a lot of this would have been avoided
it's about to be a whole class.
If a lawyer was actually, you got to have good lawyers.
Fact.
Vitally important.
Fact.
Closing attorneys. Man, shout out to Andre from Chicago. I see him in the chat, man. He knows all about this. He's a real estate expert, man. But I don't want to spend too much time on it, but it's something that's vitally important as far as real estate, because you end up spending a lot of money, and you got to know what you're doing, because if not, if you don't know what you're getting yourself into, because for me, this actually caused me to have insomnia. I had insomnia for 8 months. Because of this. Like I was ready to hurt somebody. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you spend $2 million, you contemplate hurting somebody if things don't go the way that you want it to go. So it's a real situation, and nobody ever preps you for that. And you don't fully know until you get into it. So that's why I'm very cautious to tell people about to buy a home. I'm not anti buying a home. I just want you to buy a home intelligently, because if not, it's going to lead you down a rabbit hole that you really can't get yourself out of. And it's going to be like a very stressful situation.
And make sure that the materials you're paying for go in your house.
Yo,
because they'll take that marble and fucking go charge Brittany up the street and get double. Hey, be careful.
I'm gonna tell you how foul do this, bro. So
allegedly,
how foul do this in the contract. He said he put in the fine writing, right? I looked at it after. Anything that he over orders, right, belongs to him, right? So I'll give you a prime example here. All the insulation for the house is for the first 2 floors. I came home one day. I'm like, oh, that's a lot of insulation. I'm using it for my basement. He's like, no, that belongs to me. I'm like, nah. Who ordered this? And he's like, oh, no, we ordered it. I'm like, we ordered it? Like, with my money, we ordered it? He's like, yeah, it's in your contract. If we don't use it.
That's the record business model. Well, I'm going to recollateralize your assets and take them over.
The man has a stash house. So he puts all the extras in the stash house. The next house that he builds, he's going to charge you for it. Take what he's over ordered for me, overcharge you, and use the leftovers. It's a filthy game, man. But you got, like you said, have good counsel and read the fine print, man.
Fine print. And this is a good lesson too. At every layer of business, you have to know the business, or somebody's going to take advantage of you.
And the last thing I'll say about this is you got to have somebody. If you're married, one person has to be dedicated to handling. There's so much paperwork. You got to talk to the town. You got to file the licensing. You got to get the electric. You got to get water. It's almost impossible. That's another thing that you don't fully understand. It's almost impossible to do it by yourself. So you got to have one person that's fully dedicated to that. Like I said, if you're married, then that's helpful, because one person can really do that. If you're not married, highly suggest that you got an assistant. You got to have somebody. So kudos to my sister. She's the one that's been actually helping me. And it's like I said, for me, it's kind of actually fire in that standpoint, because I get to do everything I want to do without having to consult anybody. So at least if I'm gonna go through all of the bullshit, at least I can do things the way I want to do it.
Yeah.
Because that would be even more headaches if I had to or ask for permission to do something.
Or it could be beautiful. Nah, it's real. That's why I said you definitely need someone, and that's the part that nobody sees, and we'll move on into like the everything with everybody else. But this is the part nobody sees. Like, that's a full-time job. Market money's full-time job. Earn Your Leisure full-time job. Blackout full-time. All those things are part of it. But that's just like a look inside of some of the things that's going on. Like, I watched him go to town hall. He's there till 11 p.m. on a Wednesday night. I was just in town hall last Wednesday. I'm there to 12 midnight just to get an approval to say, like, yo, you can pave your driveway. Like, just the nonsense. And one day soon, because I'm optimistic. When y'all see it, you're gonna be like, damn, y'all really did it.
Yeah.